In the early hours of February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched a coordinated military offensive against targets across the Islamic Republic of Iran, marking one of the most significant escalations in Middle Eastern conflict in decades. The operation was publicly described by U.S. and Israeli leaders as an effort to eliminate perceived imminent security threats posed by Iran's military and nuclear capabilities. The offensive involved air and missile strikes across multiple Iranian cities including Tehran, Isfahan, and Tabriz, with explosions reported nationwide and telecommunications heavily disrupted in key urban areas. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, was confirmed killed by Iranian state media following the strikes. His death represents an unprecedented event in Iranian history and marks a dramatic escalation. Multiple other senior Iranian military figures and advisors, including top commanders and Khamenei's close security aides, were also reported killed. At least over 200 Iranians were reported killed and more than 747 injured across 24 provinces during the strikes, according to Iranian authorities and international reporting. Notably, a primary school in Minab, southern Iran was hit during the attack, killing scores of children. Reports suggest dozens to over 100 schoolgirls killed in the strike, drawing widespread condemnation.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries.
Following the attacks, Iran launched missile and drone strikes targeting Israeli cities including Tel Aviv, triggering air raid sirens and civilian disruptions. U.S. military bases and assets across the Gulf, particularly in nations hosting U.S. forces such as Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates, with debris and intercepted missiles causing localized damage and casualties. Civilian casualties were also reported outside Iran as a result of Iranian retaliation efforts. Israel declared a national emergency, restricted airspace, and implemented civil defense protocols. Iran urged citizens to evacuate major population centers amid continuing attacks. Countries across the Middle East closed airspace, leading to significant flight disruptions and travel chaos, a reflection of how the conflict's reach has expanded beyond immediate battlefields.
Just going to also get in the latest updates coming in. We can confirm for you that there has now been a loud bang. We're going to presume that's an explosion that's been heard in Dubai. Explosions that have been heard in Riyadh as well. So you've got some of your biggest cities in the Middle East being targeted right now. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Riyadh, all of them seeing, in fact, explosions being reported right now. Have there been casualties? We don't know just yet because this is a live developing situation. It's escalating fast, it's moving quickly, and you're seeing essentially that the scope of this war is playing out in a massive scale across the Middle East right now. Whether it's in Bahrain, the US's naval base being hit, or in fact in Abu Dhabi, or in Dubai, there have been reports of explosions being heard in each of these locations. What will this really mean? Will the likes of the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar now also jump into this particular conflict, into this war? They will, of course, not sit quiet and allow these kind of explosions to take place. But Iran, keeping in mind the fact that they are now ready with their counter strategy, as they said earlier, they're firing missile after missile into every country that houses a US base. And amid that, they've issued an advisory to their own citizens saying, be indoors, stay safe, because it looks like Iran considers that there could be more missile strikes, a reaction to their hit back from US and Israel. I've got
United States and Israel. Both governments framed the offensive as necessary to address existential threats and imminent dangers from Iran's strategic capabilities and regional behavior. U.S. leadership emphasized the aim to diminish Tehran's capacity to develop weapons perceived as destabilizing. Iran condemned the strikes as unprovoked aggression and war crimes, asserting rights to self-defense and pledging sustained retaliation. Iranian officials denounced civilian losses and called the operation a violation of international law. Ongoing situation. Conflict dynamics are still evolving. International news outlets continue to report on shifting front lines, potential ceasefire negotiations, and broader geopolitical consequences for the Middle East and beyond.
Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore.
Ankit Kumar with me also from the newsroom. Ankit, take it away. We're seeing now this war escalating, spreading across the Middle East.
Akshita, we are trying to sum up everything that has been going on since morning in the Middle East. It all starts with the Lincoln Carrier Strike Group. This is the biggest puzzle in this case. Between 10 and 10:30 local in Tehran, today, the American and Israeli aircrafts and missiles struck right at the heart of the Iranian capital. Now, how did they manage it? How did they manage to pull this off? Because Iran, remember, has a sizable air defense options. They have Russian-built air defense missiles. Why did they not work? And the answer to that query lies in this.
The region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces, and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war, but we're doing this.
Carrier Strike Group. Remember, when this Abraham Lincoln CSG travels, it does not travel alone. It has thousands of Tomahawk cruise missiles. It has electronic warfare aircrafts, the Warthog, the Growlers, the F-15E strike options. What they do is they neutralize the interception and tracking capabilities, the Growler especially. Their main target is to neutralize the interception and tracking capabilities of the Iranian air defense systems. Now, that resulted into the air defense systems of Tehran ending up in a blind, and that is why you saw all the visuals, the streets, the buildings within the Iranian territory destroyed. Now, in response to the American and Israeli strike, what has happened is that Iranian
among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before.
Missiles, Iranian ballistic missiles and drones have started to target strategic American assets. Now, what are the American assets in the region? You begin with the air base in the UAE. Remember, America has an air base in the UAE. As you move west, you find the Al Ubaid air base.
Okay. All right. Ankit, I'm going to come back to you. Ankit, explaining to us exactly.
Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that
How these strikes took place hours ago. What started it off? US's Operation Epic Fury and Israel's Operation Roar of the Lion. That's what's triggered what you see right after that, this entire effect of every country in the Middle East seeing explosions of one kind or the other. I'll also highlight for all of our viewers watching this broadcast, anyone looking to travel internationally, do check on your flight status, because across the Middle East now, most countries have closed off their airspace. I can confirm for you that, the likes of Kuwait, Qatar have already closed off their airspace. Of course, Iraq, Iran, Israel, they've also temporarily closed off their airspace. So international flights, if you've got one planned for the next 24 hours or perhaps longer, there could be a challenge in that particular schedule. We already have learned of an Air India flight having returned midway after having taken off from Delhi for Tel Aviv. So just a quick alert there on also flight ops being hit.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all.